Hi. It has been quite a bit of time since I have done a review on a Transformer. I don't think I did one on Springer yet, and I think that was the last person I planned to do a review on, and I kind of broke my promise and didn't ever do a review on him, so I'm going to, as well as a few others today. Oop. I have kind of positioned my phone on top of Optimus Prime's trailer, so this is a little bit more unstable than I would like it to be. Um, anyway, let's go ahead and get into the review. We're gonna start. This is his vehicle mode, one of his vehicle modes. He's got two of them because he's a triple changer. And at first, when I wasn't really too sure about how the car mode looked, but now it's kind of grown on me. As for what it kind of does, it just kind of rolls around. There's not really much else it does do except drive like a car should. Yeah, there's not really much else I could say about the car. I will say it is very well done with matching the G1 show. Even if they did have to take a few liberties. It is a triple changer, so triple changers don't usually match perfectly because of the fact that they have to be able to turn into two different vehicles. Well, it is one of my favorites, but it is a shame that it's kind of difficult to animate with because I'm a stop motion animator, so that part is kind of disappointing. Now, I would normally say that's all, but of course he does have his weapons that come with him as well. He has his two swords. Let's move him back a little bit. And his two blasters. The blasters can connect into a longer gun if you want to do that. I prefer to keep them separate. And there's also the thing for his helicopter mode. But the thing is, there's not really good weapon storage for it. You can connect all the pieces together to make like a turret tank looking thing, but it doesn't really look that good. So like, let me show you. So we put these on here, and then we put this right here, as well as the other one on the other side, and it just attaches to the top. And that I really don't like that. I just don't. It's terrible. If I'm going to, I just might as well just take this off and attach it on this way, because like then I can actually control where I want it to go and stuff. But attaching this on there, it makes it so I can't really keep it in one place the way I want it to. You can also attach the weapons in a different manner. Like these little pegs here, you can attach the blade right there, and the other blade on the other one. And then you could take the guns, and there are several ports you can put them in. You can put them in this one right here, this one right here, and that one up there. With the swords like that, I prefer to keep them on the side peg right here, because I think that looks the best. Oh, that is not a peg. There we go. And then this, it doesn't really have a spot to go, so I usually put it on its side and just push it in there. And that's kind of where I keep the weapon storage if I want to animate with that, but it looks weird like I've said. So let's take all this off now. And now let's move on to his helicopter mode, which it's a very interesting transformation. If I had to transform the car from the car into the helicopter while I'm animating, that's actually a lot more fun than it is and easier than it is turning him into robot mode. So first thing you want to do is pull this up, move it out of the way. You want to take this back right here and just rotate it so that the legs are facing the other way. This is the way you would want the legs for robot mode, but we're not going into robot mode right now. You want to pull these up, and you want to separate the legs. And we're going to leave that like that for a second while we unclip the front area of the car. This is going to alter it for the helicopter mode. And now we can move back to the legs. Pull this one up here, and you want to pull this part right here down, like that. And then rotate it. And do the same thing with the other side. Just like that. Now, as for making the rest of the helicopter tail, you want to take this and move it to the side. Do the same thing with this one. You pull this out, and you want to bring it all the way like that on both ends. So it looks like that. Here's the other side appearance. And then we take these underneath here, unclip them, pull them back on both sides, of course. And then you just push them together, if it'll let me. There's the tail of the helicopter. Now, this part right here you want to clip together. Mine does not stay clipped together anymore. For some reason, it's not really bugging. It doesn't really bother me because I can have it like that and it looks just as fine to me. That's just a me thing, though. If you guys prefer it the other way, then you can do it that way. Then you can just pull this down. You want to make sure this part right here, this little thing, goes into that right there. On both ends. There's one on each side. You want to make sure it goes into both. Just like that. Now, for these little things in the front, first off, we got to actually unclip these right here. And then pull this out. Pull this out from where it is. And rotate it around as you close this up so that it comes to right about there. This will be one of the two little sides of the helicopter. Now, for when you want to push this in, you want this thing right here, this little slot right there, that my finger's on, to go on top of that. And it's going to be a little bit hard, so I'd recommend trying to get it in, but then here's the hard part. You want to get this in first, and then you want to pull this in. And sometimes, occasionally, if you don't do it right, this will pop back out again, this part right here. But if you're used to it enough times, it won't do that anymore. Oh, almost forgot to do the same thing with this side. And there we go. And clip it in there. Oop, this came undone again. Just push that back down. Okay, so there's pretty much the body of the helicopter. Now for the blades, of course you're going to use his blades, his swords. So you grab this, put that one in there, and you'll put this one, the other one on the other side. And then just push it in around top of there, and it spins really well. And of course, he still has the wheels, so he can actually still move around on the wheels too. Now, for these things, because one of these guns is a bit too thick to be put back in this port again, the only place you really can put them is like right here. You can put them on top right here, but they might interfere with the blades spinning, if you're into that kind of thing. And there's kind of what the helicopter mode will look like. It's not a perfect helicopter representation. For instance, the little ski things underneath are not there, but, you know, that's to be expected. I don't think they really could find a way to add those in. But, other than that, it's a really good figure. The fact that the wheels back here do become the helicopter blade in the back, it does kind of bug me a little bit, but, like I said, that's just my preference. And for the most part, I would usually rather have him in car mode, because I think it looks cooler in the helicopter. I do like the helicopter, though. The helicopter is still pretty cool, in my opinion. But now, I think we should get on to his robot mode. So, first thing you want to do, pull these back out again. And then we're going to unpeg this again. You want to make sure this is rotated out of the way, because it stops at this little thing right here, and keeps it from opening up on you. So then you just close that back up, fold this back over. But now you want to pull this down here instead of putting it into its back regular position. So this is going to be his shoulder, this is his arm. Fold this in, and then push it, and then fold it in again on itself, like that. Then we'll close this thing up right here. That needs to close up. We'll do the exact same thing we just did on the other side. There we go. And close that up. Now we're going to go to the legs. We got to pull this up first. Move it out of the way. We're going to pull these back down this way. And of course, click them back into their spots. Open up the legs. And, oh wait, this needs to fold down into there, so it's not in the way. And then do the same thing with the other one. We're going to fold down his feet, but this time, instead of keeping them like the way they were before, we're going to Just fold them down into feet position. We're going to spin his legs around and then pull them back up here, and then just hinge him down again. So there will be his feet, his little feety. And now we're going to take right here. We're going to pull this away from here, just like that. We're going to arch that. We're going to bend this down right here too. We're going to pull that out. You want to kind of make sure this is coming out from there, and then you unclip this part right here. And then you pull that down a little bit. You want to rotate his head around so it's his head's facing that way. His face is going that way instead of that way. And now here comes a rather tricky part: is getting his body into the appropriate position. Because like his torso is kind of like the messy part that you kind of don't want to mess it up when you're playing with him. So first things first, you pull this part right here forward. You also want to kind of not arch it down. You want to keep it up like that, kind of like that. You'll pull this down and pull this back up, so it's kind of like his chest now. That'll be where that is. I might have to do these back to the horizontal way. So now you want this little clip right here to go inside of this his shoulder's in the way. This very small section right here, and you might want to be careful because this thing pushing into here will sometimes make this come out like that, and so you don't want that because that'll mess it up. And you also want these little yellow pegs right here, these very small ones, to go inside of this thing right there. It's a very complicated transformation, and it'll be annoying at times. Okay, come on. There we go. Oh, wait, no, it came out again. Come on. There. Now let's get the other one. There we go. And there we have him in his robot mode. Let me zoom out on the camera a little bit so you can actually see a better picture of him. Wrong way. There we go. So here he is in robot mode. Now, his robot mode is kind of like clunky at times. It can be a little bit hard to move around his joints and stuff. But as far as articulation goes, his shoulders can go that far. And his arms, well, they can rotate almost a full 360. Well, not almost a full 360, but they go back about that far, and forward they go about that far back. The shoulders have a limited range, but it's still quite a bit of range, so it won't like get in the way too much. As for his arms, he's got a bicep swivel right here, so that can keep moving around. His arm can bend up about that much. Move his elbow back and it goes a bit farther. Move his shoulder back and it goes a bit farther. His wrists can swivel all the way around, so that'll be good. Same with the other arm. His legs, full 360 swivel on them. They can bend about that far from the knee, and they can go up about that far, and go back about that far. He does have ankle tilt, so that is good for when you want to pose him and stuff. He also can do the Michael Jackson lean, because his feet stay firmly planted. His head, however, it looks up about that much, looks down that much, but it can spin all the way around. So there is that. Now, as for weapon storage, still has quite a bit of weapon storage in his robot mode. So you can take both guns, it doesn't matter which way you want them, you can put them both in different hands. They do not slip in very easily, I'll tell you that. And there he has both of his guns in his hands. And you can also connect them together to make his big gun just you might have to do some adjusting, especially if you don't want to take them out of his hands. There you go. And there's his full gun. His full big gun thing. Here we go. That's more like it. You can also attach the guns to his to the outside of his wrists, in case you don't want him to hold the guns, and instead you want him to hold the swords while he has the guns available whenever he needs them. So, like, say, attach the gun here, pull this one off, and attach the other one here. And he can do, like, a little arm cannon thing. Oh, his wrist is rotated the wrong way. You can like pose him while he's doing that to give him like a little action pose. This is just kind of how I do it whenever I transform him. And then he can also like have his swords. It doesn't really matter how you put the swords in his hands. You could have him like have the these little bump things on the backside that he doesn't swing, so you can have him the opposite direction to like kind of like have him swing a Nosuke like sword. If you watch Demon Slayer, you know what I'm talking about. And you can like pose him to give him like a more of a samurai appearance. Samurai with two swords, I guess. He only has one sword in the movie, but he has two swords here. And I guess they kind of had to if they want to make him be able to fly with a helicopter blade. One big sword would look too weird. He'd look kind of like Sephiroth. But yeah, that's pretty much the review for this toy. Now, as for what my ranking of him is, or my review of him is, I give him a pretty high review, probably at least a 7 out of 10. Mostly because his vehicle modes and even his robot mode are really good, but he kind of lacks a little bit of articulation, as well as his vehicle modes not being perfect. Especially with that tail fin not wanting to stay together. And the fact that he's clunky. He does have limited movement, thanks to his clunkiness, but overall, it's really good. And also, I do like the fact that he doesn't have hollowed out feet, so I can stick a sticky tack down there and make it easier to animate with. But yeah, overall, very good Transformer. I would recommend getting him, even if he is a bit clunky. He still is a fun Transformer to just mess around with, as well as to animate with, if you're into that kind of stop-motion animation. But yeah, as for where this goes, just attach it on his back. And it just stays there. You can just have him have like some sort of a jetpack or something. Anyway, that's going to do it for this review. I will see you guys next time.